We are joined now by the esteemed columnist of the Baltimore Sun, Peter Schmuck, and Roch's here as well, as we're going to discuss the Orioles and what's going on. Buck Showalter has been having a lot of fun this week with the media, with Kevin Gausman's return imminent. Where's it going to be? Is it going to be the majors? Is it going to be the minors? Is it going to be a starting role? Is it going to be relief role? I think he's covered everything. When Gausman is ready to rejoin a team, where's he going to be and what's his role going to be?
Well, I think when he's ready to rejoin the team, he'll start in the bullpen. But I think the reason that they've decided to use him very short in his next appearance, Jim, is just to keep all options open. And we're used to Buck Showalter doing that. I mean, he's done this thing with Mike Wright for the last few days, keeping everyone in doubt. We all knew it was going to be Mike Wright. But in the case of Kevin Gausman, he's already stretched out to 61 pitches earlier in the week, and now he's going to have a quick outing so that whatever comes down the pike over the next week or so, he will be available to do.
Yeah, the only thing we know for sure is he's scheduled to go 2 innings at Frederick on Tuesday, and that's the only thing we know. We were led to believe, because this is what we were told, that after that he would come off his injury rehab assignment and he would be optioned to Norfolk, because they do want to stretch him out as a starter, which is the only reason why I wonder why you suddenly say, well, instead let's put him in the bullpen, because they've gone from having concerns in the past about limiting his innings to be concerned now about him not having enough, because they want him to break camp next spring in that rotation. One of the starting 5, no more back and forth, not starting out Norfolk. They want him to be the starter, so they've got to stretch him out. So I'm going to predict that he makes a start, because I know they're giving serious consideration, makes a start next weekend in Toronto. Now, there are the other options, though, of course, with Tyler Wilson being here. Buck said, hey, he's not guaranteeing this guy's going back down. He could go ahead and make a start. What if Mike Wright is lights out today and gets another start on Friday and is great again? I mean, it's a pleasant problem to have. They're going to have too many starters, even with Gonzalez on the DL. But I think right now they're giving serious consideration to having Gausman make a start in Toronto.
See, but the way I look at this is that the Orioles have this depth, and why not use it now? Worry about Kevin Gausman starting next year. Right. If he's more valuable for this team to win this year, if he's more valuable in the bullpen, I totally agree with that move.
Well, and I think that's just the way Buck is going to look at it right now. He kept stressing to us as we went through the various pregame press conferences over the past few days. He kept stressing, and he said it over and over, I'm going to try to win today's game. I'm going to try to win tomorrow's game. Now, this isn't brain surgery. We know that's what he's going to try to do. But for some reason, he thought it was important for him each day to stress that to us, and I consider that a bit of a signal. I think he wants Kevin Gausman wherever he wants Kevin Gausman, and he'll worry about next year. I
agree. And I know there are going to be some fans frustrated, say they got to stop doing this to Kevin and moving him back and forth from the rotation to the bullpen, whatever. But you're right. That kind of an arm, he can be used in a lot of different ways. And with having Wright and Wilson up here, it does give Buck that maneuverability where this guy could go down, I could keep this guy. Having some flexibility in the bullpen would be nice. But I know they have discussed having Kevin make that start.
All right, so the Birds go for a 3-game sweep here today. They have won 6 consecutive games. They are back above 500 at 31-30. A lot of theories. Why the turnaround, and why has it come now?
Well, I'm going to go back a little bit, and I'm going to be a little counterintuitive. I credit the turnaround still to the pitching. We've seen 20 runs and 31 hits in the last couple of days, but the fact is that you have a bullpen that's 19 2/3 innings on this homestand and given up 1 run, and you have a starting rotation that has been very, very consistent. Not spectacular, but very, very consistent. And they just have to keep doing that, and they had to do that to wait for the offense to come around. So that's the way I'm looking at it, but there are a lot of reasons why they've won 6 games in a row.
Yeah, I think that's a big one, but also, and nobody uses injuries as an excuse, but I just think the fact that they're getting healthy has lifted that entire clubhouse. Just a perception where guys can look around and say, hey, this is the team that we anticipated having. They've been in damage control since they broke camp in spring training. They've used a disabled list 13 times with 12 different guys, Ryan Flaherty being the repeat, with 11 different injuries. If you're scoring at home, we've had the repeat on the right shoulder and the right groin. Otherwise, it's been a variety, no oblique or intercostal, but a lot of different injuries. Now guys with Wieters back, especially Hardy, can look around that clubhouse and say, we're starting to feel whole again. This is the team we were envisioning, and we're not in damage control. Jonathan Scope, the only projected regular now, who's still in the DL, and he's on his way back today or tomorrow from extended. He's going to work out with the team the next 4 days, go to Bowie over the weekend, and again, who knows, is he going to just work out? Is he going to start his rehab assignment? But he's that close now. He's getting closer. He'll be back before the break. So I think there's just been a big lift, not just what you get in the lineup and on the field with these guys back, but just looking around and feeling better about yourself and saying, this is the team that we were projecting, Now let's go for it.
All right, let's use a Buckism here, the ebb and flow of the season. You look back to April, team hit, didn't pitch as well. Then you go to May, it flip-flopped, team pitched great, didn't hit, trouble scoring runs. This month, they're doing both at the same time.
And obviously, that's how you can win 6 in a row and 7 of 8. But I would agree with Roch on one thing that's really, really important. Buck has spent 2 months trying to fit all the right pieces in place, and it has not been possible. You know, you've had the injuries, you've had guys that really haven't fit, you've had Diaz move on, you've had Ever Cabrera move on, and now you're getting the players, and I hate to say it, resembles the players he had before they started making some changes. And, you know, you have a team now that looks a lot like a year ago, with the exception of Nelson Cruz. And I just think it's a matter of team chemistry, and they have finally brought it back together.
And we should point out they're not running on all cylinders. The starters haven't been going deep lately, but fortunately the bullpen's been covering for them quite well. So imagine if you can start getting the starters to go deeper. But you're right. I mean, this team right now is starting to look like what we were envisioning. And that's why when fans were saying the season's over and it was May, and I'm like, you know what? For all the guys that they've been missing and key guys, to be hovering around 500 the way they were, I thought was very important and very good.
All right, Peter Schmuck, follow his coverage of the Orioles at BaltimoreSun.com and, of course, Roch at MASNsports.com, and they are both superstars on Twitter, so check out their tweets all day long.